into the discussion, or Socrates, when the question arises in this continued development of arguing with the reality how to understand life, etc. And they come into it with the proposition, Plato comes into it with a proposition that the government can only be made up of disciplined, wise human beings that have self-control, that precisely are undemocratic. In the sense, namely, that democracy, that is the participation of people in government, needs to have a definition of what government is to begin with, or what responsibility the person has who exercises his freedom to cast his vote. Or in our contemporary language, it would be, you need to be an educated person before you can cast a vote and have that vote be significant, other than mathematically, which is the way they account it today. And is one of the reasons why some people wonder whether democracy can survive when everybody gets the same vote regardless of their moral orientation or their educational insight or their sense of responsibility for the third generation after them. Then without those kind of things, democracy will not function. Then it will just be an expression of plurality, not of wisdom, truth, goodness, beauty, justice, etc. Anyway, Plato wrestles with that, and he comes up and he says, you've got to be able to train your mind to control your will, your reason to control your will, which it must then control your appetite. And he sees that image of the educated person, which is a good image, you know, you've got to realize your appetite goes over the map every which way. You've got to be able to control it. For that you have to have an active will rather than being a victim of circumstances, of temptations, etc. And in order to control your will, you've got to think things through. You've got to have a reason. The only thing is he doesn't talk about this in the Republic until he gets to the 5th and then the 10th book. Before that, what he talks about is that really the state in his time must be a state in which subjectivity or temptation, personal appetites or personal preferences and so forth are excluded. And what he proposes is that everybody in the body politic, in the polis of the Greek city, should have their assigned place without variation. They are the philosopher kings, and then there are the soldiers that protect the walls, and then there are the farmers that produce the food for everybody to eat. And everybody is in one of these three categories. The thinking person is the philosopher king. There are very few of these. The military one is the man of force, and then there's the man of providing for the daily needs. Now, that image of a controlled setting, taken away from what Plato makes of it, namely the disciplined, virtuous human being, and seeing it as the model for all of society, has been the blueprint for so much of dictatorship, totalitarianism, with a utopian garment, all through history. And that's what I'd like to shed a little more light on. I need to add something from last time too. I mentioned a book by Orhan Pamuk, and I gave it the wrong name. The real name is My Name is Red. And it's a wonderful book that describes the contrast between our whole view of life and the individual responsibility and our experience of moments in sequence, the way Adam and Eve were to live each day as a new day and not a repetition of the previous one, and thus there would be no one true day to be modeled or one ultimate day that is the ideal day, but every day